The humble air conditioner. You probably really don't think about it much unless it's not working, but the air conditioner has actually changed a lot about how we live and where we live, and we are lucky enough to live in a time where air conditioning is standard everywhere. Not just that long ago, having air conditioning was considered more of a luxury item, but just how much does cold air really affect how we live our lives today? Air conditioning got its start in the early 1900s, when the magazine industry ran into a problem. Too much humidity would cause magazine pages to wrinkle and ink to smudge. Engineer Willis Carrier was the man tasked with solving this problem. Luckily, he was a smart guy, and through a series of experiments, he developed a process to control humidity by passing air through cooling coils, and thus modern-day air conditioning was born. This started a revolution. More and more, air conditioning started to be adopted, at first for industry, and then it slowly spread to the public. The most noteworthy jump from industry to public was the movie theater. At the time, movie theaters were having a problem. No one wanted to cram into a room full of people in 90+ degree heat. This problem was solved when a theater owner had the idea of adapting the air conditioning he had seen used in textile mills to be used in his theater. This idea took off and spread to almost every theater across the country. Soon people came to see the movies, not so much for the movie, but to get a break from the heat. Uncoincidentally, this is also when Hollywood's golden age began. But this also marked the beginning of another trend. People began to move south. Mild winters were a big plus, and with the new advent of air conditioning, the hot summers were less of a deterrent. In the 1950s, southern states only had 28% of the population. Compare this to the early 2000s. The population jumped to an impressive 40%. Large population centers such as Dallas, Texas, can certainly thank air conditioning as a contributing factor to the rapid growth they have experienced. Home design has also seen changes, as houses were built without airflow being a primary concern. Porches are a good example of this, as they are a staple of the past, when it was common for families to sit out a hot summer day on the porch. But the biggest change air conditioning has made to our modern day life is in the IT field. Computers throw off a lot of heat. While one computer isn't much of a problem, you really start to see how important air conditioning is when you have a bunch of computers packed densely. Of course, this is essentially what a server room is. A bunch of computers in a tight space working together, and they produce a lot of heat. Without air conditioning, it's possible that modern day servers would have to be much more spread out to allow for better airflow. In turn, this would mean running a website or anything requiring service could be much more expensive. If air conditioning had never been invented, people probably wouldn't spend as much time on computers or watching TV. Humanity as a whole would be much more driven to do activities such as swimming or spending days in the woods to get away from the heat, much like they did prior to 1930. Demographics would also change, as people would be much less likely to move to arid climates, preferring colder, more mild climates. Megacities such as Dubai or Dallas, Texas may never have existed, or could be significantly smaller than they are today. If another means for cooling server rooms were not invented, internet services could be more expensive to cover the cost of hosting on servers that could have less capacity to allow for better airflow. However, Facebook has shown that it is possible to keep a server room cool without the aid of air conditioning. Either way, there would be some very real changes had air conditioning never been invented, like us all having to deal with wrinkly, smudged magazines. Thank you very much for watching. This is still a new channel, and I appreciate any feedback, whether positive or negative. And as always, please enjoy the rest of your internet going experience.